Hello folks, welcome to my stay-at-home workout. 6 days a week while I'm stuck inside. I'm doing simple, low equipment, 20-minute-ish workouts. This is day 2 of this week, so I'm focusing on upper body pull, meaning I'm prioritizing bent over rows. I'm actually going to stick those sort of at the top of the workout. Before I get into that, I am going to hit a couple of core bracing exercises just to get the core ready for the bigger lifts that are going to follow. First, I want to show you what equipment I've got, so maybe you got something similar in case you're following along, okay? So I got a 10-pound ball. That's my only weight, really. If you have a dumbbell, kettlebell, even like a bag of something, you know, some household object, whatever, it all works. Just something to hold in your hand. Then I got a resistance band. It's about a ½ inch in width. And then today, I'm also working with another type of band, which is meant for the lower body. So a little thicker, obviously. A little wider and a little more tension there, which I'll be using later on. So hopefully you have something comparable to this stuff. If not, there's always ways that you can modify around it, and I'll talk about that too as I go through. First, going to start with my standard core bracing exercise, which I call plank circuit. Going to consist of side planks and classic forearm planks. So we are going to be on our forearms. So you might want a mat, basically, like I've got here. Okay, so the side plank is going to be from the elbow. You want the upper arm here straight up and down so the shoulder is stacked over the elbow. You can either have strided feet, which is the top leg forward, or you can have stacked feet, which are ankles stacked right on top of one another. I'm going to go stacked feet. It's a little more challenging in terms of your balance. Okay, so if you're just doing this for the first time or whatever, you can hit stacked or strided feet instead, no problem. From here, I'm just going to bridge up at the hips. I'm a straight line from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head. I'm squeezing this elbow in the whole time to keep this lat nice and tight here. I'm thinking about my ribs going down because I don't want that rib cage to flare. I don't want any weird arching in my back. A few more seconds here. I'm going to go basically 20 seconds per side. From here, I'm going to roll into a classic forearm plank, like so. So now I'm on my forearms, as you can see. My butt's not too high in the air. My back's nice and flat. My rib cage, once again, is not flaring. So I got that midsection tucked in there. And I'm not hanging out on my shoulders. I got my shoulder blades protracted forward. I'm not letting my head droop. So I'm a nice straight line once again there. A few more seconds here. Then I'm going to roll in the side plank on the other side. It's just going to be a mirror image of what I did with the first side plank. Once again, from the elbow, stack feet, nice straight line, squeezing in here, staying nice and tight with that lat. It can help to point the toes up, bring some sort of tension and concentration into the lower body too, because the legs are a part of this, right? It's not just upper body, it's not just core, it's full body. A few more seconds here. And relaxing. Little breather here, you can shake that off. Going to do that one more time. And then our core is going to be nice and braced. And we'll move into some rows and other stuff I've got planned for today. Okay, so once again, side plank from the elbow. You want to really squeeze in here, nice and tight, okay? Bridging up at the hips. If you did strided last time in terms of your stance and it was a bit too easy, why don't you try the stacked feet this time? You'll notice it definitely changes the game in terms of balance. A little bit more of an advanced variation. A few more seconds here. Rolling right into that classic forearm plank. Shoulders protracting forward. My butt was a little high there. It's nice to have the screen to check myself. A few more seconds here. And side plank on the other side. Last plank. Five more seconds. Relax. Okay, so quick breakdown of how this is going to go today. Aiming for 3 sets, 10 reps apiece. So 10 reps for every exercise. And you're going to have 4 exercises in total, starting, like I said, with that upper body pull. So that's going to be some bent over rows today. And then I'm moving into a little bit of a hinge movement with some banded good mornings. You may have seen good mornings before. It's a staple in fitness classes. Next up, I'm going to do some hands elevated push-ups. I'm actually going to do some close grip push-ups. Those are going to be tricep dominant. And I'll show you what I mean by hands elevated. Basically, you're going to need, or you're going to want at least, some kind of elevated surface to push off. Like maybe I got this couch braced up against the wall here. I've also got a little stool I'm probably going to use today. If you got a bed or a chair or something like that that's not going to move on you, that would be great. And then lastly, I'm just going to do a little bit of glute activation. I'm going to take it kind of easy on the squat muscles today because we hit some split squats yesterday. So want to give those muscles a chance to recover. Okay, let's get started. Those bent over rows. I just have a band here. If you have 2 dumbbells or 2 kettlebells, that's going to be perfect for this exercise. I'm going to have to get a little bit creative. So I'm just going to stand on both sides of that band there, and then I'm just going to be pulling on the band like so. I'll show you from the front first, okay? So I want to get nice and bent over, neutral spine though, shoulders back, just like that. A little bit of tension on the band to start. Nice tight core. From here, I'm just squeezing those elbows into the side. So it's a nice controlled range of motion. I'm just pausing for like half a second at the top there. That's all. That's 5, 6. I want to keep my shoulders down away from my ears. I want to be showing lots of neck. That's 8. That's 9. And 10. Now the banded good mornings, I'm just going to show you from the side here. I'm actually going to loop it around my neck. So just around the upper traps there basically. As long as that's comfortable for you, you can do the same thing. I'm keeping my knees nice and soft. My stance is fairly narrow, shoulder width apart, that kind of thing. Not too fussy about that. From here, I'm going to push the butt back. I'm going to keep the spine neutral, core tight. So I'm basically leading with the hips. And now I'm at the bottom. I'm going to drive through my heels and bring the hips forward and get tall. That's it. So pushing the butt back, staying nice and tight. Hips come forward, getting tall. I want to make sure I'm not arching or rounding in the back, either at the bottom or at the top. That's why I just say get tall, not lean back. A few more here. Going for 10. That's 7. That's 8. This one can be a little bit awkward because you might not know what to do with your hands. Just let your hands hang by your sides. And that's 10. Gonna extricate myself from that. All right, so for the hands elevated push-ups, I'm gonna do it like I said, this little stool here. But once again, any surface that's not gonna move on you will work for this. And the idea is basically the higher that surface is elevated, the easier it's going to be for you because you're going to have more of an advantage in terms of leverage on your push-up. So because I'm doing a tricep push-up, I'm going to keep my elbows pretty tucked into the side and keep my hands closer than they would normally be. So this little surface allows me to do that pretty easily. I'm going to start in that high push-up position. I'm a straight line from my heels through my head. I'm pulling myself down and I'm pushing myself away. See how close those elbows are to my side? Nice tight core. Straight through the top of my head. Don't let my head droop. That's 4. That's 5. I'm pulling myself down. I'm pushing myself off. So the lats come into this too. That's 7. 8. 9. If you're finding this hard, just elevate that surface. And that's 10. And last of the 4, I'm going to do a little bit of glute activation. So what that's going to look like is, I'm going to take this thick band I've got here, and I'm going to put it around my legs, just above my ankles basically. You might want something to brace yourself here. I'm just going to grab this TV and not lean on it too hard. And from here I'm on one leg basically, and I'm just reaching back diagonally with that other leg. I want to keep this leg, this glute nice and tight, but I'm also working this glute here. And you'll feel that after a few reps, just what I mean by glute activation. I keep it in the same bent over posture the whole time, and I'm isolating the movement to the glute. Switching legs here, same thing on the other side. Just going back diagonally, staying tight. I'm just braced for balance. I'm not really leaning on this TV, obviously. If you have something a little more secure, that would be ideal. A couple more, and that's 10. That's it. That's really simple, just the glute activation. Now let's say you don't have one of these bands. Here's something else you can do. It's not exactly the same, but it'll work in a pinch. You're just gonna lay on your side, and from here, do a little bit of what we call abduction. Just raising that leg. It's basically a sideline leg raise, and you're gonna feel some glute activation on that one, as well as a little bit of hip work there too. It's a great exercise in and of itself. All right, little breather here. Those are the 4. I'm gonna go through those, that whole cycle, 2 more times, 10 reps apiece. I don't wanna take too long of a break, because I like to work the cardio in there as well by minimizing rest periods and keeping the pace pretty quick, just because I'm not able to run outside or do any of that stuff that I would normally do. Okay, let's hit those bent over band rows. I'm going to show you from the side this time, all right? So you can see kind of how much I'm bent over there. Nice neutral spine, tight in the shoulders, tight everywhere, tight core, squeezing those elbows into the side. Little hold at the top. That's 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Banded good mornings. Stepping into that band. Looping around those upper traps there. Okay, let's start down here. Okay, so I'm kind of thrusting forward with the hips, driving through the heels. The butt goes back on the way down. Spine's neutral, core's tight, shoulders back. That's 2. Just getting tall. That's all I'm doing. The movement is always led by the hips. I don't want to think of this as I'm bending over. I want to think of it as I'm hinging at the hips. Lifting with the legs. 4 more here. Last 2. And that's 10. All right, let's hit those hands elevated push-ups. Let's say you don't have an elevated surface, or you do, but tricep push-ups are just crazy hard for you, which is normal. It took me a while to build up to it. Here's something you can do. Start in a high push-up position. Bring those hands nice and close. It's almost like a diamond shape with these push-ups. You want those elbows nice and tucked into the side, and from here, all you're gonna do is lower yourself really slow, as controlled as you can, and then you get to the bottom, you just set up, reset up, get back to the top, and that's called like an eccentric sort of movement. So that's your negative, basically. Okay, and that's gonna do a lot for you as well, and it also might help you build up to that movement. The nice part is you get to reset every time. So there's an alternative for you. But I am gonna hit these with the elevation. Okay. Nice straight line to the top of the head, pulling myself down, pushing myself up. That surface is making contact with my chest just below the sternum. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, little bit of glute activation to finish things off. And reaching back diagonally with that leg. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switching sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, if you're with me so far, good job. We have 1 more set of all 4 of those, then a little bit of a core finisher for you. All right, 1 more time on those bent over rows. Stepping on that band. If you don't have a band, you can make the weight a little heavier if you're using dumbbells, and if you have more than 2, that's great. I can make this tension a little bit greater by kind of just spreading my stance out, so there's just a little bit more tension on the band. Lots of ways you can play with this stuff. Okay, nice tight core, shoulders back, slow squeeze into the side. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, okay. Where am I going next? Right. Banded good mornings. Just around the upper traps there. Stepping on that band. Once again, let's start down here. And I'm coming forward with those hips, driving through the heels, getting tall. Butt goes back. Hips come forward. That's the idea. Core nice and tight the whole time. Shoulders back the whole time. That's 4. That's 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Remember to keep those knees nice and soft. 10. You don't want to lock out the knees on that one. Generally, we want to avoid locking out the joints with most exercises. Okay, last round of the push-ups here. Slowly drawing myself in and pushing off. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And one more time on the glute activation. Get nice and bent over, holding that posture, reaching back diagonally. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same thing on the other side. I'm just going to adjust that band. It got a little loose on me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's all the resistance work, quote unquote, today. Little breather here, then I'm going to move into a nice little core finisher. Going to be lying on my back. So a mat is useful for this one too. I'm going to have a little weight in my hand. It's going to help me brace my core. I'll show you just what I'm doing here. So I'm lying flat. I'm going to pull this ball over just like that. Big bracing breath, 360 degrees around my spine. You notice I got my shoulder blades back, stuck to the floor. See how I'm doing that? I got the lower back ribs stuck to the floor as well. That's the idea. From here with that nice little core brace, I am going to do some leg raises. So I'm going to do 20 leg raises, and then I'm going to do 20, they're going to be kind of like V sit-ups. I'm going to be reaching for my ankles with my legs in the air with this ball in my hand, sort of like ankle touches, which is a boxing drill, really, amongst other things. But you'll see what I mean. Okay, 20 leg raises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If this hurts your lower back, just minimize the range of motion. Don't go down as far with the legs. 5, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Keep them up. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, without taking a break, 10 in and outs to finish it off. Start nice and wide, coming in. 2, just on the butt. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. And that's it. I'm going to stop there for today. I hope that was helpful for you all. If you're watching on Instagram, following along, thanks very much. Make sure to foam roll, cool down, stretch, get some protein, all that stuff. If you're checking this out on YouTube later, thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want to see more. I'm doing this 6 days a week. All right, take care.